This message is for anyone who feels like they're stuck in limbo. If you feel this week really unstable, ungrounded, unsure, not knowing what's coming, what's going, and just feel like you don't know, like you don't have a grasp on what is currently happening in your life, if you're like questioning everything, you feel like you're going crazy, you feel like you're checked out, you feel like you're even spacey or floaty or just very unanchored, it is because this week the Mars-Pluto opposition is causing such a ruckus for all of us. It is causing such upheaval, such internal and external turmoil. It is causing this uprooting within the self. And that's what so many of us are going through right now. That is what a lot of people are experiencing. And I was really heavily picking up on that this week in the collective, of just this feeling of unsure, of not knowing what the future holds, but knowing that you can't go back, knowing that you can't return to the past. You can't be the way that you used to be because you're not that person anymore. Feeling like you can't kind of get even a grasp about like who you are anymore. There's just such heavy, like uncertain, ungrounded, I want to use the word void feeling. And like I said, it's definitely some of the astrology playing out that is causing this feeling. I mean, think about Pluto is finishing up a 15-year cycle. It is finishing up a very long period of moving through Capricorn, moving through hardship, difficulty, right? Capricorn is like hardworking. So this is hard work. This is an intense turnover of who you are fundamentally as a person. Like this is your personality, your entire life that has been kind of turned upside down over the last 15 years. And of course, there has been times of respite. There has been times of calmer periods where things felt more stable, where things felt more secure, where you felt like you knew what was going on, or you felt like you had a sense of direction. But this week, because Pluto is finishing up this incredibly huge cycle, and it's not yet in the sign of Aquarius, it is really causing, like I said, this void, this feeling of limbo for so many people. So if you're resonating with this message, then this is definitely for you. I felt very called to share what is kind of happening and just to give people a sense of peace of mind, that you're not going crazy, that you're not losing your shit, that you just are feeling ungrounded and unanchored because you have been plucked out of the old, but you're not planted in the new yet. Because the new hasn't been created yet. The new is in the process of becoming. You are in the process of becoming a new version of yourself. You're in the process of moving through shedding that old, outworn version of yourself. You are shedding your identity on a very deep intrinsic level. And when we are moving through such incredible transformation and change, even though this has been slowly happening and progressing over time, over the last 15 years, as Pluto has been moving through Capricorn, it still is at this end stage of it feeling like it's not complete, like you haven't fully maybe shed your old identity, or that you haven't fully stepped into a new identity. It feels like you don't know who you are anymore, or what you necessarily like, or whether your goals are even going to manifest or come to fruition, right? Like there's just such feeling of instability right now, this feeling of suspension, this feeling of limited yet unlimited, this feeling of like you have no idea where you're going to land right now is exactly where you're meant to be. It is exactly where you're supposed to be. And the absolute best thing that you can do for yourself this week is to stay very, very present. This is not the time to check out. This is not the time to hide or bury your feelings. This is not the time to run from yourself. This is a very important seeding period, meaning that you are planting seeds during this limbo phase. And when we are in a period of void, we are in a rest period. And a lot of people, I think, get really scared when they're in a period of void, when they're in a period of uncertainty, because it's, of course, fear of the unknown. But I'm telling you that this period is all about resting, observing. It's about becoming really, really aware. It's about planting seeds for that new cycle, for that new life, for that new identity that you are now seeding and beginning to anchor in. And this is the time during this void period to do that. So make sure that you are taking some time to get clear on who you want your new identity to be, what you want him or her to look like, both internally and externally, what you want yourself to achieve, accomplish, move towards, become. That is what needs to be done during this period of transition where you are no longer the old, but you are not the new yet. You may also have a sense of like something is imminent, like something is coming, something is changing, something is about to take a turn, something is about to break through. And when you have those feelings, kind of like settle into them. I'm seeing, how do you want me to say this, Spirit? Like I'm seeing it as like resting into it, anchor into it, trust the flow, trust the feeling that you have. Allow yourself to just hold space for yourself. And by holding space, I mean, you don't judge, you like literally just observe. You're not judging, you're not criticizing, you're not overthinking, you're not analyzing, you are simply observing from this very detached, beautiful place within yourself. And you're very anchored in the present moment. Because the past is done and because the future hasn't quite begun yet, anchoring into the present moment is what is going to give you the most amount of stability right now. When you feel like you are in the void, when you feel like you are super unsure about what's next, where things are even going to go. And I'm getting this sense that some of the viewers tapping in are feeling like you've lost the thread, feeling like you've lost your sense of direction, or just absolutely not being sure. It's almost like the road before you has disappeared. The path before you has disappeared. And when we feel this way, that is Spirit's way of letting you know that you are now officially in the unknown. And that unknown is the birthplace of all creation. Because there's no attachment to the unknown, because you don't know what to attach to. There's no neediness with the unknown, because you sense something is coming, but you don't know what. So it's like you can't even pinpoint what you want out of it, like what you need out of it. And when that path disappears before you, it is disappearing to let you know that you are on the path. That's how you know that you are on the path. And it can feel really scary. It can feel really daunting, and it can feel really uncertain and unsafe. Because the unknown is a territory that most people do not like to venture. Most people want to know what's next. They want to know the next step. They want to be in control. They want to know the outcome. They want to know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, right? And that is all ego. So when we are in that sort of negative shadow side of the ego or of the self, there's no grace, there's no patience. And that causes a lot of stress. So don't allow yourself to move into that space. This is a very important week to stay grounded. Get outside as much as you can. Do different practices that ground you, that feel grounding to you, that feel like they give you a sense of peace and a sense of safety and security. So doing root chakra work this week will be very important. And just know and understand that you are moving through a remolding. It's like Pluto leaving Capricorn is creating this feeling of literally being remolded from the inside out. You are becoming a brand new person. Your personality is changing. Your identity is changing. The things that you used to identify with, you no longer can identify with. Neptune this week is also at the karmic galactic center. It is in the last degrees of the last sign, and it is about to cross into 0 degrees of Aries. So Neptune is about to begin a brand new cycle. So it's like, no wonder there's so much liminality. No wonder there's so much suspension, so much feeling of unanchoredness. So you are literally hovering between an old way of life and one that is yet to be born, one that is yet to be created. It is yet to be experienced. It is yet to be fully stepped into. So instead of feeling frustrated or impatient, now is the time for active waiting. And what I mean by active waiting is that you are absolutely in the present moment, as I mentioned before. It is this absolute awareness of yourself, of your environment, of other people, of how you are feeling, allowing how you are feeling, observing how you are feeling. That is active waiting. It is just super focused present moment living. And while you are in the super focused present moment living, you are literally allowing everything to come to you. It's like you're opening up your arms, because in that instant that you are in the present moment, you step out of resistance. So you stop resisting what is. You simply observe what is. That is active waiting. So it's like you're waiting, but you're not waiting. You're not in a feeling of waiting. You're just living life moment to moment, being very present, being very aware, and allowing yourself to just move through each present moment with a sense of peace, with a sense of joy, with a sense of not needing to know the outcome, not necessarily needing to know what comes next. It's an absolute space of allowing, of surrender, and full trust, having full faith in your own divine unfolding, in your life's divine unfolding. And I know it can be hard to get there. And that's why I'm encouraging you not to get frustrated or not to get impatient this week. Stay in the energy of trust. Trust yourself. You are wise. You are so wise. And your intuition is so wise. And it is constantly giving you messages. Nature is constantly giving you messages. God is communicating to you through all kinds of different ways. Through certain lyrics that you're hearing in your head. That's God communicating. When you get up in the morning and some song starts playing in your head and it's like sort of repeating the same lyrics, that's God communicating. That's your higher self communicating to you. So pay attention to the signs this week. Pay attention to what shows up for you this week. Pay attention to what you notice, what you observe, what kind of really catches you more. What type of signs or what type of information or something that you hear or something that you see, what grabs a hold of you. Whatever grabs a hold of you has a deeper meaning behind it, has a deeper message for you. And this is why being slow, taking time to rest, being very intentional, and being very present this week is going to serve you very well. So stay neutral. Make sure that you don't fall into the trap of polarization, of like either or. This has to happen or either or is going to happen. Get out of that polarization right now. Try to be as fluid as possible. Try to go with the flow as much as possible. Polarization, this either or, like it's going to go this way or that way, right? And like those stories that we tell ourselves when we are in a space of unknown, when we are very uncertain, those stories are very easy to believe. But that's not what is called for at this time. There's a neutrality that is called for at this time, where you're not telling yourself stories, where you're not reading into things too much, where you're not overanalyzing anything. You are just observing, just being present, just paying attention without judgment. Venus is also crossing the karmic galactic center this week, and she sends her own unique message to us. She says that you don't have to create change. The way that we think that we have to create change, we don't have to create change, because change is inherently a part of the energy that we are currently in already. It is the currency of the current times, as I'm sure you have noticed. Everything is changing constantly, forever in motion. So it's not about you needing to create change. It's actually about you flowing with the change, flowing with whatever comes your way, with whatever happens, with whatever scenarios play out in your life, and just flowing with it. So your role this week is just to channel flow. The energy of change is already in the air. Can you tap into how that's showing up for you? Flow into that change. How can you flow into that change? How can you move with the current of change that you are experiencing? What is your intuition telling you or guiding you to change, to do differently? It's going to be this, like, when you connect to the flow of change, like I said, the change energy that's already present, when you just naturally tap into it, it instantly shifts your actions. You're going to do things differently because you're just flowing with that change. You're just flowing with whatever is happening, whatever is unfolding, with whatever you're intuitively feeling like you should do. And that's how you create change effortlessly, because you're just flowing with it. You're just trusting your intuition. You're listening to it. You're very present with it. So very simply put, just embody whatever change you feel or you are called to make at this time. Just embody it. Take the action, do the thing, think the thought in a different way. It's like this energy of, can you just flow into the different, whatever that looks like for you. So be very mindful. And I want you to refuse to indulge in any internal gaslighting. Okay? Do not gaslight yourself during such a powerful time of transformation, such an important and such a, I want to say challenging, because it can be very challenging to be comfortable and to move into trust when you are in such a deep energy of unknown. So no gaslighting, no judgment. Stop being hard on yourself. Allow yourself to flow. And really be open this week to embrace this, like, big picture thinking. It's about seeing the higher perspective. And just rest assured, knowing, even though everything feels unsure, just rest assured knowing that you are moving towards something better. Even if you don't know what that is yet, even if you don't know what it looks like or how you're going to get there, none of that matters right now. Just trust and condition yourself to believe that you are flowing towards something better. Something is unfolding for you, something surprising, something that you did not expect. Allow yourself to get excited for that. Allow that knowing to be your anchor, to be your peace, to bring you that peace. Also have a really strong and focused intent this week to stay in your own world. So this would definitely be a good week to significantly reduce your social media. Don't watch too many videos if you can. I know this is a video too, but really try to reduce the amount of content that you are consuming, because it's really going to stir up your mind too much. It's going to put you into the energy of overthinking. It's going to put you into this energy of believing or trusting outside sources more than you are believing or trusting yourself. It's also really important so that you can silence any external noise, so that you can really hear the internal voice of your intuition and of your heart, so that you can really get into this habit of trusting and listening more attentively to what your internal guidance system is telling you, instead of what other people outside of you are telling you. So even with this video, take it as it resonates for you, and take only the parts that resonate for you, only the parts that you feel like are giving you a sense of clarity, a sense of understanding. But at the end of the day, it's really important that you really just trust yourself and learn to listen to yourself more than others. Because this week is about strategically carving out a distinct way of being for yourself. It's like you are literally creating a new identity. Your identity is getting a full flush and getting a complete rebuild. And so you need to carve out the time. You need to carve out this new identity. And this is why it's so important that you are listening to yourself right now and really getting out of your head and getting into your heart of like, who do you want to experience yourself as? Who do you want to be? Who is this new identity? What does she or he look like? What does he or she think like? What do they feel like on a daily basis? How do they act? How do they behave? How do they move? How do they interact with others? This is the new identity that you are now carving out. So quiet the outside noise, tune into the inside voice, and trust where that is taking you. You are at a very advanced and very intricate crossroads right now. And I'm sure you're feeling that at the depths of your soul. I know I certainly am. And when you are in this very special place, this very intricate, very delicate space, what happens is that you get inwardly completely blown open. So there's this complete opening of you on the inside while you are feeling this incredibly powerful pull to recreate yourself also on the outside, to establish this new person, this new individuality that you are becoming. So like I said, there's a lot. We are literally flooded this week from the cosmos with an incredible amount of overwhelming, transformative energy of change, where everything feels like it's up in the air, where everything feels unanchored, because a chapter of your life is finishing now. So don't cling on to the past. This is the time to completely let that go. Allow that chapter to close. Allow it to end. Let go of what is definitely over now. And this letting go could be a lot more about an identity, like a past identity that you used to embody. And I feel like it very, very much has to do with limiting beliefs. So there is a version of you, an outdated version of you, who had a tremendous amount of limiting beliefs that you are now letting go. It's dead and gone. And this new version of yourself is emerging as we speak, who has completely different beliefs, an entirely different belief system. And this belief system has to do with what you think is possible for you. So whatever you used to think was possible for you is out the window, and a completely brand new list of possibilities is now emerging within your subconscious and conscious mind. Allow those new beliefs to come to the surface, write them out for yourself, whatever you connect with, whatever just comes up naturally for you. And really trust that you are moving into a brand new space, into a brand new energy, into a brand new identity. You are moving into a brand new you. Really trust yourself, trust your process, trust your unfolding, trust your timing. If you resonated with this message, please hit a like on your way out, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.